Today, we're going to talk about the first appearances and key issues for the greatest day of the week. New Comic Book Day, March 9th, 2022. That and a whole lot more coming up next. I'm Jimmy Don Kerr, and this is the Small Town Collectibles YouTube channel. So before we get into talking about all the first appearances, the key issues, and all the cool covers coming out this week, I want to ask you, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, do that now. Hit that subscription button, turn on that notification bell so that you get notified when I put out new content. Smash that like button and make sure you hang around to the end of the video to find out how to be entered into this week's giveaway. All right, with all that out of the way, let's jump into our first category, and that's the covers. And I do have several covers this week. And I could have put more, but I'm going to highlight some of those later on in the video. But my first cover up is from a Blaze. That is Sumerian Hour of the Dragon #1. This is the cover A. I just think this is awesome. And I'm not a big Conan guy or necessarily a big Savage guy. That's my boy Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy. But I absolutely dig this cover. Just kind of a brutal looking Conan with his sword, bloody. I don't know. I just think it's cool. And it's one I'm definitely going to grab, and it's not a book I would normally pick up. So that's Sumerian Hour of the Dragon #1 from a Blaze. Then we jump over to DC, and the first one up is Batman #121. Now, I think Batman 121 came out last week, but I didn't see this cover on Midtown, which is where I try to go to kind of figure out what books are coming out and make sure I'm not telling you about a book that maybe is not coming out this week. But this one showed up, and I absolutely dig this one. That's Batman 121, the cover E incentive by Jock. And I love Jock's art. I've always been a big fan of his art. His writing, not so much, but his art is great. And I just kind of dig this cover. You got Batman. It's like an extension of him. It's the bat signal upside down. I don't know. I just think it's really, really cool. And on that full stock card variant, or the full stock card, I think it's going to be a cool book. Now, it is an incentive, and it costs $45 over on Midtown. I'll probably wait on this one to see if the price comes down a little bit, but this is a cool book. That's Batman 121, the cover E incentive by Jock. Then we jump over to Detective Comics number 1056. This is the cover A by Irvin Rodriguez. And we had a cover very similar to this a few weeks ago for Detective Comics, and I did not include it on the list. And then I saw it, and I was like, man, that was stupid. And there's just something about this cover. It's like eerily haunting, but sexy all at the same time. And I think that maybe says more about me than the cover. I'm not sure, but I dig it. Harley Quinn, kind of a real life depiction of Harley Quinn holding the baseball bat. I don't know. I dig it. And it's one I grabbed the other one from my PC. I'm picking this one up as well. That's Detective Comics number 1056, the cover A by Irvin Rodriguez. And then staying with Detective Comics, the cover B variant by Lee Bermejo is absolutely sick. Bermejo has been killing it on these covers, on the variant covers for Detective Comics. And this one, when you look at it, Batman's sitting there, he's screaming, he's holding Robin, who appears to be dead. Gotham City's burning down behind him. And you can just feel the pain in this cover, and it's just, and I'm not really like that deep when I look at covers. I'm like, oh, you can feel the pain, but really you can feel the pain. Batman is destroyed. He's just letting out the yell because his beloved Robin is dead, and this is just sick. Bermejo's absolutely killing this. That is a phenomenal cover, and is a definite for my PC. Next up, we jump over to Image. And we've got Spawn number 327, the variant cover featuring Haunt, which is inspired by the Spider-Man #1 from 1990. Now, there's a ton of homage variants like this, but Todd McFarlane's variants for these seem to hold value and seem to go up in value over time. And that's why I wanted to include it on here. It's not necessarily one that I will pick up myself. I'm not really into those homage covers, but this is a pretty cool cover featuring Haunt. And if you're into these, it's a definite for you to pick up this week. Next up, we jump over to Marvel. And I've got 3 covers here from the new Punisher book out this week. And the first one is the cover A by Jesus Says. Now, I dig this. I love the Punisher. And this is just says everything about the Punisher to me. Standing there, I like the red background. You've got all the knives and all that stuff behind him with the old school logo. He just looks menacing in that cover. I dig that one. Also dig I think this is the cover D by Goran Parlov. And it's basically I guess the chest protector, and it's got a shotgun hole through one of the eyes, and through that hole you can see the Punisher walking away. Frank Castle's walking away. And I don't know if this is true or not. On Key Collector, it said this cover art is symbolic to the Punisher retiring his real-world controversial emblem. And I don't know if that's true or not, but I do dig the cover. I think it looks really cool, and if it has that other meaning, then that's great as well. And then probably my favorite of the three is the cover F variant by Alex Ross. Of course, that's the timeless cover variant. Ross had all those covers come out, the different Marvel characters, and this week we get the Punisher, and Alex Ross is the GOAT, and this cover is sick. I absolutely love this one. Definite pickup for me. Excited for this new Punisher series and all these dope covers that are coming out. Next up, staying with Marvel, we've got Star Wars Crimson Reign #3, the cover B variant by Raza. And this is the Knights of Ren cover. Now, this is a 5-issue connecting cover, and I've been picking these up and hadn't necessarily included them here on the covers list because I wasn't sure exactly what they were. I'm a sucker for a red background. But apparently, this Knights of Ren, there's a bunch of first cover appearances on here. So I think these books are pretty expensive if you go on the secondary market and pick them up. But this is #3, and like I said, it's part of that 5-issue connecting cover. So yeah, cool cover. Absolutely love those. Like I said, really, really bullish on Star Wars right now. Picking up almost everything that's coming out. Next up, again with Marvel, we've got Strange Academy #17, and this is the variant cover art by Ryan Stegman featuring Gaslamp. And I just dig the cover. I think it's cool. I like Gaslamp as a character. Really enjoying the Strange Academy run, and just really dug this cover. So that's Strange Academy #17. And then wrapping up our covers list for this week is Women of Marvel #1, the variant cover by Ashley Witter. Now, I probably won't buy this cover, but when I saw it, it reminded me of my daughters and my dog Harry, because I have thousands of these pictures that look like this cover. And my youngest daughter kind of looks like the girl on the left. And then my oldest daughter would 100% be behind her, giving her the bunny ears. And then our dog Harry, who is named after Harry Styles, unfortunately, would be in the picture as well, because he likes having this picture taken. And that's why I love this cover. It just reminded me of my girls and my dog. And I don't know, I dig it. So that's Women of Marvel #1, the Witter variant. And that's it for the covers. A lot of cool covers out this week. I love all those, and pretty much all of them I'll pick up. Maybe not the Homage cover, the Spawn cover, but the others I'm probably definitely going to pick up. All right, with our covers out of the way, I do want to shout out channel sponsors, and we're going to do this a little different, but I want to shout out IRF Authentics. They just released their March mystery box, and last check, they still had 6 left, I think. So if you're interested in those, I'll link them down in the description below, as well as sponsors that Spider-Man booth, Street Level Hero LA, and Page 3 Game Zone, which is my local LCS, and who donates all the books that we give away here on the channel. So I'll link to all those guys down below. Big shout out to them. Appreciate all their support. They're there for me anytime I need anything. Go check them out and give them some love. All right, now let's jump into our second prints, and we've got another week full of second prints. Like I said, Marvel's been putting out some really good stuff, books that have been selling, and they're putting out second prints. But our first one is from AWA Upshot, and that is Primos #1, the cover D second print by Mike Deodato Jr. Now, no image for this one yet that I could find. I looked on several sites, but it didn't have an image, but it is coming out this week. Primos #1, second print. Then from Blood Moon Comics, we've got Deviltree #1, the cover C second print. Really enjoying Deviltree. Really like that one. If you're not reading it, jump on that, give it a read. And then a gorgeous, gorgeous cover on this one. I probably should have included it on my covers list. That's Black Panther #3, the cover E second print by Mateus. Manhani. Now, or number 3 was the book that got so hot when it came out. So you get the second print on this one, and that cover is fire. So maybe one you definitely want to look at grabbing. And then I don't know that I've ever seen this happen before, and it probably has, but we have a second printing of a facsimile, and that's Conan the Barbarian, number 1, the cover C, facsimile second print. So that's cool. You know that book sold. That's a great book. Conan number 1, great cover. Another shout out to my boy Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy. I know he's picking that book up. Staying again with Marvel, we've got Daredevil, Woman Without Fear, number 1, the cover G second print by Raphael de la Torre. Love this cover too. You got Kraven on the cover with a Elektra, holding the sword. I don't know what you call those things, the little swords. But I dig that one too. It's a good depiction of Kraven. Then we've got Devil's Reign number 3, the cover E second print by Marco Cicchetto. Just a reprint of the original cover, just with the black and white for the main picture. Then we've got Marauders, annual number 1, cover D second print by Chris Lee. And then Moon Knight, number 7, cover C second print by Corey Smith. She-Hulk, number 1, cover H, second print by Jim Bartell. Then Silk, number 1, cover E second print by In-Huk Lee. Silver Surfer, I kind of dug this cover too. Not my favorite, but I did kind of dig the cover. Silver Surfer Rebirth, number 1, cover H, second print by Ron Lim. Then we've got Thor, number 21, cover E, second print by Nick Klein. And this second print features Magog and God of Hammer. So that could be a hot book and maybe one you want to be on the lookout for, since those people are featured on the cover. Then wrapping up our second prints, we've got Timeless number 1, excuse me, the one-shot cover O third print by Mark Buckingham. Now this is the first cover appearance of an unknown female Black Panther character with white hair that might be the daughter of Storm and Black Panther from an alternate reality. So definitely be on the lookout for this one as well, for that cover appearance of this unnamed character. All right, and that wraps up our second prints this week. A lot of good ones out this week. A lot of books that were really, really hot. Got the second prints coming out, and they've got some dope covers to go along with them. Now, let's jump into our key issues. As always, we start with DC. First up, we've got Naomi, number 1, and this is the premiere issue of the second series. This will be a 6-issue series, much like the first one was. Then we've got Trial of the Amazons, number 1, which is a 2-issue limited crossover series that features all the current Wonder Woman titles and characters. So that could actually be a pretty cool read, I think. And that's it for DC. We've got several Marvel, though. So let's jump over to our Marvel. And I like to point these out because I'm really enjoying Devil's Reign. But for some reason, just based on what I'm reading, I've been reading a lot of Moon Knight, all the Devil's Reign titles. I feel like something could happen in this book. So that's why I'm pointing it out here. And that's Devil's Reign, Moon Knight, number 1. And that's the one-shot tie-in to the Devil's Reign story. So that's another one to be on the lookout for. Then I mentioned earlier, you got Punisher, number 1. And this is the series where Punisher is the warlord for the Hand. So that could be interesting. And also maybe why you see the emblem change on his uniform that everybody's been all up in arms about. And then another book that I'm actually going to put on my pull list, and I'll tell you why here in just a second, is Spider-Gwen, Gwenverse number 1. And this is the introduction of an alternate dimension versions of Gwen throughout the series. And these books, when they do these, always seem to have some important character show up, first appearance, something generally happens. So I'm going to put this one on my pull so I don't miss it. You might want to do that same thing. And then we've got Star Wars Crimson Reign number 3. In this book, we get the origin of the Archivist. And then a book I'm really excited about, Star Wars Han Solo and Chewbacca number 1. I'm always down for a good Han Solo story. And this one predates New Hope. And Han is doing some work for Jabba the Hutt. So I can't wait to read this one. Love a good Han Solo and Chewbacca story. Then we have Thor number 23 and the conclusion of the Gods of Hammer story arc. And I've really enjoyed that one. If you haven't read it, I've said it many times on here. When Kate does this thing, the stories kind of go up and down. But I've really, really enjoyed the God of Hammer story arc. So that finishes up this week. Then in Venom, you've got Rom V writing that this week, and you've got Venom taking on Spearhead. So that could be fun. I've been enjoying that one. It's not been great, but it's been good enough to keep reading. Then Women of Marvel, #1, anthology of stories featuring female characters told by female creators. For all you ladies out there, or guys, again, I've said Gary B, the casual comic guy, 20 times. Gary's a big fan of the Women of Marvel. This could be a cool book to check out. Then we've got a title that I'm really enjoying right now. There's two of them actually. X Deaths of Wolverine #4. And the synopsis teases that this issue could be a major turning point for the X book. So again, another book to be on the lookout for. And then X Lives of Wolverine #4. And the solicitation references Wolverine and Omega Red together. And if you look at the cover, it's like they took Wolverine and Omega Red and put them together. I don't know. So that could be kind of cool. But I've been enjoying both of those titles and giving those a read. So I'm looking forward to X Deaths of Wolverine and X Lives of Wolverine out this week. All right, and that wraps up our Marvel. Let's jump over into our indies, and we start off with a blaze, and that is Sumerian Hour of the Dragon #1, and I absolutely love this synopsis. Robert E. Howard's Conan is brought to life uncensored. Discover the true Conan, unrestrained, violent, and sexual. Read the story as he intended. Now, I'm not a big Conan guy, but I'm getting this book and reading it. What was it, Barbarian or Barbaric that came out? I really enjoyed that tale, and it really kind of led me to maybe want to read Conan a little bit. And as I've said, Gary B again, he really enjoys, like he's a massive Conan fan. And so I'm checking this one out and giving it a read, and I'll let you know next week what I thought. Next, we've got Aftershock, We Live, Age of the Palladians #1. Definitely looking forward to this one. Loved We Live. Glad to see another We Live title out, and I'm excited to get into that one this week. And then we've got Antarctic Press, World War III, Battle Over Hakadio, no chance I said that right, #1. And I like a good war story, and the synopsis on this one reads, War Magna Master Makoto Kobayashi, hit alternate history Magna continues in this what-if war tale of a Soviet invasion of Japan. In the 1990s, Japan's self-defense forces must battle a Soviet armored division intent on occupying Hokkaido, Japan's northmost island, in conjunction with the USSR's invasion of Europe. Never read this guy before. I just like titles like that, and I'm probably going to definitely grab this one. I'll probably read it digitally. But World War III, Battle Over Hokkaido #1, and I don't know why I keep saying it because I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. And then I've just realized manga, probably didn't say that right either, so don't make fun of me in the comments. Next up, AWA Upshot, in a book I really like the synopsis for as well, and that's Hit Me #1. Lulu has a very unique profession. She gets paid by the bruise. When she is witness to the execution of one of her regular clients, she escapes into the night with a briefcase filled with diamonds and a pack of killers on her trail. So that seems fun. Love AWA Upshot. Love their titles. I really like this one. Hit Me #1. Then from Black Box Comics, we've got Wilder #1. And this one is set in a futuristic San Francisco. Dr. Deja Wilder leads Wilder Investigations LLC, and an anti-poaching and animals rights management firm dedicated to protecting and saving the depleting population of species throughout the world from would-be human predators. So basically PETA, futuristic PETA. I don't know. That one doesn't interest me. I just like to put the #1s on here. So if that is something that speaks to you, you can grab it. Then from Fantagraphics, and a book I'm really looking forward to read because the first series was sick. That is Red Room Trigger Warnings #1. This is volume 2, and it's a 4-issue limited series. And that first Red Room series was just insane. And I loved every second of it. I'm not going to lie to you. All right, then we jump over to IDW, and we've got Killock, Artisan and Wraith #1. This is another one I don't know anything about, but I really like this synopsis on this one, and I'll read it to you here. But this apparently was a cult hit back in 2020. Original title, The Killock, and it's a vicious and darkly funny sci-fi series. The Killlock unified 4 criminals in a quest to escape their seemingly inevitable linked deaths. They managed to escape destruction by merging their consciousness. You know what I mean. And now one of the smartest and most malicious bots in the universe has an unbreakable body and a planet at his command. Homeworld won't allow it, and so 2 of the deadliest assassins in the universe are tasked to kill the artisan Wraith. I think that sounds cool. So I'm definitely going to grab this one, and I am going to go back and read the original Killlock series just to check it out, because I think that sounds really, really cool. Now we jump over to Image, and one of my new favorites writers, thanks to Lee over at Whack Comics, Jeff Lemire is out this week with Little Monsters #1. They are the last children on Earth who also happen to be vampires. For longer than they can remember, these child vampires have lived a life of eternal wonder amongst the ruins of humanity. But shocking events fracture the group and set them on a path to discovery that will shatter their innocence forever. So, Jeff Lemire, sold. Little Monsters, vampires, yeah, check. I'm definitely picking that one up. Can't wait to read it. And then we have Radiant Red #1. This is a 5-issue miniseries telling the next unmissable story from the world of Radiant Black. And we've talked about this for the last several weeks in a row with Supermassive and some of the other. I think that was the first appearance of Radiant Red, and now you get her first series. So that should be cool. Really enjoyed Radiant Black, and I enjoyed Supermassive. And looking forward to this Radiant Red this week. From Oni Press, we've got Rick and Morty Infinity Hour #1. And then from Scout Comics, we've got 3 titles this week. We've got Broken Eye #1, Perhapanot's Triangle #1, which is a Black Caravan imprint, and Zodiac One Small Spark #1, which is a Scoop imprint. And that wraps up all our key issues this week. A lot of good stuff coming out. Marvel coming out strong here at the beginning of the year. A lot of great titles that I'm interested in reading. DC a little slow this week, but I am looking forward to Naomi and reading that because I really enjoyed the first run. Now, before we go into our first appearances, I got to shout out Comic Book Mafia member. And I've talked about him the whole video, so let's shout out Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy. Now, Gary B was one of the first real friends that I made on this YouTube journey. And Gary B and I are buddies today. Don't get to talk as much as we used to, just because our lives are incredibly busy and both of us work a lot. But there's not a better guy out there. He is the father or the godfather of the Grow Together movement. And that movement speaks to who he is in a big way. Great guy, massive Conan fan, like massive Conan fan, loves anything Savage, loves the strong characters or the women characters in Marvel. And like I said, he's just a really, really good friend. He was my first ever guest on Team Questions, which was really cool. Him and Slotted Up 503, we called ourselves the Usual Suspects. Does a lot of really good content over on his channel, Savage Saturdays. He's got a new show, the 1011, in the hot seat with the Usual Suspects on Thursday night. Just crazy content, a lot of good stuff, and like I said, just a better guy. So that is our Comic Book Mafia member shout out, Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy. I have him linked down below in the description. If you're not followed him, go over and check out his channel. You will not be sorry. All right, now that we've got our member shout out done, let's jump into our first appearances. And we've got 4 this week, and I think 4 pretty good ones. First up from DC, we've got Batgirls #4. We get the first appearance of Spellbinder, who's a new villain. Also from DC, Batman Urban Legends #13. We get the first appearance of the Super Pets, led by Ace the Bat Hound, Merton, Little Newts, and Ursa. And then jumping over to Marvel, we've got Captain Carter #1. In this book, we've got the first appearance of Captain Carter in comic books. And if you know who Captain Carter is, she was in the What If series. That was the first episode, I believe. And so you get her debut in the comics. So that can be fun if you're a Marvel fan. And then wrapping up our first appearances list, we've got Star Wars, Han Solo, and Chewbacca #1, where we get the first appearance of Keltana and the first appearance of Buck Vangto, a marshal that's hunting Han Solo. Can't wait to read this one. Love Han Solo. one of my favorite characters in the Star Wars mythos. Love Chewbacca. Can't wait to give this one a read. All right, guys, that is it for our first appearances, our key issues and covers. Like I said, massive, massive week. Another expensive week. Last week about broke me up. This week is going to be much the same. All right, so a couple things that we got to do before we finish up this video, and that is to do our giveaway from last week's video and show you the books for this week's giveaway. All right, so I didn't get to do new comic book down the budget next week, and I'm probably going to stop doing that one for the time being, just for some time constraints. Be on the lookout for a video later in the week to talk about some of the changes that are coming to the channel and why I'm going to have to do what I'm doing. And the books for the last several weeks have not been claimed by the winner. So the winner today is going to get a stack of books. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 books. So we've got this Electra book, super massive, Step by Bloody Step. This was awesome. Love that one. Iron Fist #1. Quad #1. Another great book. Love this one. Until My Knuckles Bleed. This awesome Catwoman Jenny Friesen cover. Animal Castle. Batman Detective Comics. Sick Penguin cover, this crazy Joker cover, this Devil's Reign, the Sway variant with Luke Cage, love that one too, and then this awesome DC vs. Vampires Matina cover. That glare is killing me. So yeah, so just for watching first appearances and key issues, man, you never know what's going to happen. So this is what's up for grabs today. All right, now let's share our screen, or attempt to share our screen. This is always an adventure for me. Here we go. Let's share. There we go. All right, so I've got everything loaded up. All right, here, so if we get that closed, we won't. But anyway, I've got it loaded up here. Filter duplicate users, 24 unique comments. That's pretty good odds. Let's hit start. Let's see who wins. Joe from Anachronic Comics. Awesome. I can't talk. Bermejo is killing it on those Batman covers. Love that Archram Strange #1. Also hilarious that the Comic Vet won, congratulating me. So congrats to the Comic Vet for this week's win. Hashtag Comic Book Mafia. So congrats to Joe over at Anachronic Comics. Great channel. He does an excellent cover video along with some other awesome content. And he's just a great guy. He's been on 10 Questions. And I think he won like 2 weeks ago. So he's probably got some books on his way now. So Joe, you are the winner of all these books. So just hit me up in my DMs on Instagram, and I will get these shipped out to you. All right, now the books for this week's giveaway. All right, now what do you got to do to get entered? You have to be subscribed to the channel. You have to smash the like button on this video. And you just leave a comment below letting me know what your top pick is this week with the hashtag Comic Book Mafia. I actually love that comment because I get to know what everybody's looking at and what everybody's interested in. So it's pretty, I enjoy that. Now, normally I give 3 books away. Is that right? Yeah, 2 books away today and then 3 books on New Comic Book Day on a Budget. Now, as I said earlier, I'm not going to be doing New Comic Book Day on a Budget for a little while. May do some version of it, but that takes less time. I've just got some things going on, and I need to spend my time doing some other things. So we're going to give away 5 books from this video. First off, this Catwoman second print. I absolutely love this one. This is great. Picked up a copy for myself as well. Batman Killing Time #1 was sick. This was a great read. If you didn't read it, definitely go check this out. And the value, there was a first appearance in here. As well as I think the value's been kind of going up on the secondary market. So Follow Me Into the Darkness. I like this one as well. Then we got this Star Wars High Republic book. These books have been hot as well. Very cool cover on that one. And then this What If Miles Morales variant. So yeah, there you go. So those are the books that we're giving away this week. So like I said, be subscribed, hit the like button, leave a comment, let me know what your top pick is this week with the hashtag Comic Book Mafia, and you are entered. All right, guys, that is it for me today. Thank you so much for coming over and spending a little bit of time with me. I really do appreciate it. Like I said, stay on the lookout for the video later this week. I'm going to kind of do an update, kind of explain to you. I'm going to have to change my content a little bit. I've got some things going on, and I'm going to have to slow down just a little bit on the YouTube content for the time being. But anyway, with that said, hope you guys have the greatest new comic book day ever. I know I'm going to, and you know how we end these things. Until next time.